Hey, what's up? What's going on? Of course, I got to adjust things because, the thing doesn't exactly... All right. Got to move stuff around. It's always like, I guess, final thoughts kind of thing. Yeah, I know. I could be more professional and everything. I don't really care. As I said, I don't really give a crap about all the fluff and laser lights and graphics and all that other bullshit. I just want to make a channel that to talk. Seriously, that's what's wrong with the youth today. Young people today. If you need all of this shit to have like just a simple conversation, if I reach a certain amount of people or whatever as the channel grows, then that's fine. I don't really need to reach millions of people and all this other shit. What are the people I follow? One of the people I follow, Officer Tatum. Apparently he's been blocked or something or whatever. And then there's actually a few other people I follow that, as November is coming closer, people who are speaking out against the bullshit that's going on with corruption and censorship and everything that's going on from these liberal media, markets, which is YouTube, Facebook, and all of them, they're starting to censor and block more people. Now, all the people I'm following end up fighting it. And because I think that's their whole thing, is that they're not expecting, oh my God, this damn thing. I guess they're not, I hate the fact this stupid timer comes on my amplifier. Anyway, and I didn't know if I fixed that. No, I did not. Anyway, I guess they're expecting people not to fight, not to argue. And so they're banning people, they're blocking people without any just cause, censoring. And I guess, as I said, they're not expecting people to fight because there are those people that don't fight, so they end up staying blocked for no just cause. Like those people that just like, well, these mask people. I'm not going to get into that because still masks are bullshit. I work in my yard. I have respiratory condition, really bad respiratory condition. Plus my sinuses are fucking shot. So even before I retired, working for Unisys, repairing government computers and things like that, I was already supposed to wear a mask because of my time in the Army. My sinuses had already been destroyed. And even then, mask didn't work. I was supposed to wear a mask anyway because of dust and all that stuff, and the mask still didn't work. So that was one of the reasons of me having to retire from doing that kind of job, or any job that dealt with being around all that dust or whatever and stuff, is because masks didn't work. And I already have severe asthma, all of that shit. So wearing the more filtered or whatever mask is going to cause me to hyperventilate. I'm supposed to carry an oxygen meter thing around, a freaking blood pressure thing I'm supposed to carry around, all that I get from the VA, So to sit here and say that a mask is going to work for a regular mask is going to work for a fucking virus when it doesn't work for dust. And this is coming from my doctors who specialize. I don't understand. Anyway, but getting off topic like I always do. Anyway, I started following this guy because y'all know how I feel about corruption. As I've said in many of my videos, I love, because I got friends and family that are cops, so I love my boys and girls in blue. However, I have a serious problem with corruption. Your job, seriously, your job is hard enough as it is. Why do you need to, especially right now in 2020, why do you need to be doing dumb shit that's going to put law enforcement in more of a bad light. Falsified light and just all that other crap, that's one thing. But considering that y'all are being monitored so much under a microscope right now, why would you do stupid shit? If we have to follow the law, then you who are supposed to be enforcing the law should really be following the law. So if I got to follow the law, then so does your dumbass. You can't just make shit up. You can't go outside of the lines. This isn't Steven Seagal above the law. You're supposed to follow the fucking law. So if you're not going to follow it, then why the hell should we? So anyway, started following this guy. His name's James McLynas or McLynas. He is running. He's a non-Leo, meaning he's a non-law enforcement officer running for county sheriff for Pinelleas in Florida, Pinellas County, Florida. Well, the current sheriff keeps harassing him. I've already watched, I think, 4 or 5 different videos of deputy sheriffs and everything coming at, like, falsely pulling the guy over. And I'm like, damn, dude, seriously. You do realize, yes, you are a sheriff. But the more this keeps getting investigated, I mean, this was posted 6 months ago. But the more that this keeps getting investigated, the feds are going to come check you out, dumbass. So this Robert Gutierrez, the feds are going to come look at you. The stuff is being recorded. It's being posted. It's literally out there for, I mean, this one's been out for 6 months and it's already got 242 over, because Marley, over 242,000 views. Haven't you known there have been other sheriffs who have been arrested for corruption? I watched an entire thing on 2020 about a particular sheriff who was dealing in drugs and all this other shit, taking out opponents and, I mean, literally just taking out gangs and shit like that. And a reporter, like a college reporter, mind you, did an investigation and the feds ended up coming after them. And it became this huge fucking story and everything else. You keep doing stupid shit like this and the feds are going to come after you. I'm surprised the feds haven't come after this Robert Gutierrez yet. I've just watched, as I said, like 4 videos throughout the day from this sheriff, this opponent, this guy here, this James McLynas. And I'm like, dude, why haven't the feds gotten involved yet? This guy is obviously corrupt. So but as I said, this is a message for all you good cops that are out there. Y'all need to report these guys. Cops, male or female, are being murdered all over this country and getting a bad rap all over this country as it is. And then you guys want to be corrupt and dumbasses on top of that. So for you good ones, why are you not reporting them? I'm sorry. I actually was trying to join the El Paso Police Department. Had already aced all the testing, was doing the physical stuff. And one of my friends who was there, he was a cop, talked me out of it because he was like, for one, aren't you going to be starting your own business? Which I did, which became very successful. He goes, 2, you don't have the temperament for it. And then 3, because of conversations him and I had, he was like, Mark, he goes, you're going to end up having a lot of these officers hate you. And I said, why? Because I'd report them for not doing their fucking job, or I'd report them for corruption. This was years ago I was saying this shit. Again, if I have to follow the law, if everybody's got to follow the law, then you who take an oath to to enforce the law should definitely be following the law. So anyway.
My name is James McLynas. I'm running for Sheriff of Pinellas County.
Let me rewind that just so because he's running. This was 6 months ago, and the very first video I saw that turned me on to this guy, as far as watching his subscribing and watching his videos, was just from a week ago. I thought he was a cop trying to run for sheriff, but no, he's running as a non-law enforcement officer. I didn't even realize you could do that. It's fucking badass, actually.
My name is James McLynas. I'm running for sheriff of Pinelleas County 2020. I also ran in 2016. And one of the things I do is I like to investigate things that have to do with police corruption, especially at the sheriff's office.
And I love a lot of these channels. Audit the Audit, the Amagansett Press. I love those kind of channels. Nobody is trying to tear down or defund the police. All we're trying to do is, because I have had police officers suspended or fired since the time I was a teenager, because I've made friends in internal affairs back home in Norfolk and here. So nobody is trying to tear down or defund the police out of myself or any of these people. We just want you to do your goddamn job just like anybody else has to do their fucking job. Problem is, you're not anybody else. You're a person that carries a fucking gun. You get to carry a goddamn gun and a badge and think you're fucking God and shit. You're not. You're just a regular fucking citizen that's supposed to enforce the law. Not break the law, not go outside the lines of the law, not above the law, but the law.
And one of the things in that subset of investigations, I investigate whether or not officers or officers' family members are given special consideration or special treatments through criminal or civil issues here in the courthouses or by the police. So I was informed about an arrest yesterday of a woman named Jill Wentz, W-E-N-T-Z. And the arrest report or the booking report at the Pinelleas County Sheriff's Office shows that her address was exempt, her date of birth was exempt, and normally when those are all exempted, that means it's a police officer. That's the only reason they exempt those from public records. So of course this piqued my interest and I decided to go and check it out. Well, I went down to the courthouse to get the records of the booking, to get the records of the event, to get the record.
Which are public record, and you could do. A lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of it's going to come up in this.
Of what was going on. And basically it was a drunken disorderly by a daughter, a 30-year-old daughter of Lieutenant Captain James Wentz of the Pinelleas County Sheriff's Department, and also another Lieutenant Wentz, a female, who's the mother of this daughter. So this particular arrestee had both a mother and a father that works for the Pinelleas County Sheriff's Department. When I went down to the clerk's office at the courthouse, I ran into a lot of interesting roadblocks of the Pinelleas County Sheriff's deputies just making sure that I did not get what I was looking for. And one of the main things I was looking for was the actual video of her jailhouse hearing, which is, you've seen them on the news, they're fairly common. I went down there to get a copy of that so I could see whether or not it was raised to help her out. She went from a bond situation to an ROR, released on own recognizance, for a pretty bad drunken disorderly. So I wanted to know if at that hearing they said, well, you know, her parents are both Pinelleas County Sheriff's deputies and they pulled that card or not. So I went down to get that record, and this is what happened. Here's the police report from Jill Wentz's arrest, disorderly intoxication disturbance. As you can see, she was outside somebody's house kicking in a screen door on the porch, yelling, I need to find my mom, with no shoes on a pretty cold night. She was arrested and taken into custody by a St. Petersburg police officer. Here is a previous arrest from 2008, where the same woman, Jill Wentz, daughter of a...
See, seriously, when your kids are I happened to watch what, Red 2? Yeah, I think it was Red 2. I mean, there's a whole bunch of movies where, or what is it, when Spawn, the animated, was on HBO, and one of the congressman's sons was like a serial killer and all this other shit. Seriously, why are you people just not letting your children go to jail? Why are you protecting them? I mean, this is from what? I think he said 2002, 2008. Why are y'all protecting? I mean, I don't understand this. I mean, yes, they're your kid, but if your kid keeps fucking up, just leave them in jail. Let them go. That's how I was raised. My mom, if you fuck up, your ass is going to jail. My grandma was that way with two of my uncles, her sons. They were both criminals. She was like, no, your ass has gone to prison. See, I'm not going to bail you out. Go to prison. That's the way I was raised. Don't break the fucking law. Your family shouldn't be bailing you out and shit. Everyone knows right from wrong. I was taught right from wrong, how to cross the street, all of that in kindergarten. Are you telling me in goddamn 2020, you fucking youth today do not know how to not break the law? I mean, y'all have access to more knowledge and computers. We didn't have any of that shit in fucking 1975. We didn't have any of that shit. We didn't have PCs. There was no Google. There was no WikiLinks. There was none of that shit. And we knew, how is it that there's more technology, more access, more instant access to knowledge than ever before? And yet you people are dumber. We didn't have access to that stuff. We had to go to a library, know how to use the card catalog, look shit up. Hopefully the book was there. Research shit, learn shit. We had to actually do work to learn shit. And we retain that knowledge. It's like y'all have more knowledge, y'all have less brains. Considering, I was just talking to somebody about that just yesterday. We were hoping, not hoping, as PCs and then laptops and all this stuff was being created, we were like, man, the youth, because I had kids in school. So it was like, the youth coming up, man, they're going to be smarter than us. They're going to be so much smarter than us because they're going to have access to instant knowledge. I mean, we had to wait for that knowledge, and now there's like Cliff Note versions of stuff you're actually looking for. We had to read a whole bunch of shit to even try to find the section we were even looking for. So we were like, damn, these motherfuckers are going to have so much knowledge given to them so much more quickly, which means they're going to be smarter than us. Here we are in 2020, and you youth of today are dumber than hell. I can't even comprehend that. I can't comprehend it. I don't understand. I used to get teachers suspended, fired, because I was one of those. I was there at school to fucking learn. Considering I was black, growing up in the goddamn South, dealing with the Klan, right in my face telling me you ain't worth anything, you ain't going to go anywhere because black people aren't smart, black people are stupid. So I did everything I could to make sure that the teachers are doing their job so that way I could get my education so I could prove these fucking racists wrong. And I did. Got a higher than top secret clearance when I joined the military, was military intelligence, degrees and certifications in microcomputer technology. So, yeah, I proved these motherfuckers wrong. But that was my whole point, to go out of my way to make sure these motherfuckers were wrong. Yet somehow, these kids today are full of excuses and just are dumber than dirt. You have more, I weep for you dumbasses because it's like, I don't understand. How in the hell could y'all have more of an advantage than we ever did? Do you have any idea what we could have done with the knowledge, especially since I did love reading and studying and things like that? So if I had been able to get the information I was looking for quicker, it means I could have learned more things quicker. I could have gone way further than I have in my life. Y'all have all of this information, and yet y'all don't use it. Y'all have like the memory and the attention span of a goddamn goldfish. Anyway.
Pinellas County Sheriff Captain and a lieutenant, a couple that both worked for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, they talk about how she was so drunk that they were taking her in because they were concerned for her medical condition, and she bit the EMT on the arm, as they were trying to put her on the gurney. Apparently, not much has changed in her life since then.
Again, as I said, why do you protect, knowing you're in law enforcement or in politics, that kind of thing, why do you protect your stupid kids? Why do you protect them? I don't understand that. Let their fucking dumbasses go to goddamn, I mean, what are they doing? Are they doing with that whole thing? I swear I'll change. I swear, don't let them take me to jail. I swear I'll never do it again. Obviously, she did it again. Here's the thing. She's a goddamn adult now. She's a fucking adult. Adult. If they haven't learned by then, let them. Oh my God. I've told my kids numerous times, y'all fuck up, your asses are going to juvie. Y'all fuck up, and you're already an adult, your asses are going to jail. I ain't coming to get you. Fuck that shit. Unless it's something that is actually you didn't do wrong, then I will do everything in my power to basically get shit solved, get shit figured out. But if you committed the crime, no, keep their ass in jail. But somehow or another, there's all this privilege that's out there. Not white privilege, it's financial privilege and class privilege. There's really no such thing as white privilege anymore. A lot of my poor white friends and family would agree with me on that. I'm more well off than a lot of my white relatives. So the white privilege don't mean anything. It doesn't exist. Class and financial privilege, that definitely exists.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, so you're going to violate Title 10, Chapter 119?
Yes.
You're going to violate Title 10, Chapter 119.
She already said yes.
I'm telling you that I don't have facilities for you to sit here and listen to your audio of your proceedings.
What's my proceeding?
Whatever proceedings. You can buy an audio CD. They're $25, and that's how this office conducts business.
Well, I understand that, but there is case law here in Florida under Title 10, Chapter 119, where people have been sued, agencies have been sued for that exact thing that you're asking me.
Right. He's literally pointing out the law to you. He's pointing out the law that you should know, for one, because you work at the goddamn county. So you should know the fucking law. That's one. He's pointed it out. Two, he just pointed out people have been, what you're refusing right now, people have been sued over. So you do realize that these people, Amagansett Press, Audit the Audit, these people file lawsuits and they win. Like a lot. They win all the fucking time. Why would you take the chance? But obviously it's the corruption. It's the corruption in these law enforcement agencies that they think they're above the law. But you got to realize when the shit is pointed out and it's clear evidence, the DA literally has no choice but to push forward on the shit. So if you think you're being safe, lady, by like helping the sheriff or helping these officers, it's not going to help you. You're going to end up being sued. The county's going to end up being sued. And then you have those people that get mad at people like me and these other people, well, see what you're doing? You're raising taxes and everything. No, all we want is if we got to follow the law, you who took an oath to enforce the law also need to follow the law. That's all we're saying. There would be no point for people like us if there was no people like you.
And so I'm coming here to ask to listen to it. And I do have the legal right under Title 10, Chapter 119 to come at any given time during normal business hours and inspect and copy any record, including audio records, including video records. And you cannot say you can't hear it, you can't see it, you cannot inspect it, you cannot copy it unless you pay us $25. That's against the law. That's putting a restriction, that's putting a condition on the access to the records. And by law, you can't do that.
Legal education, but I said.
So, why does she get, thank you for the legal education. So basically, you know what he's saying is true, and you're still going to take the chance on getting in trouble.
No.
But I said
so
no.
You're going to violate that? I need another public records request.
I am the only one that knows how to use them. They're no use
Yeah, she actually kind of did look like the Wicked
Yeah,
Witch.
she's not coming to the window. My guess is she's probably calling the police.
Even though I have done nothing wrong, only requested records, which is in his fucking right, was at all times calm and professional. She did, in fact, call 6 sheriff's deputies. Aren't we supposed to have a shortage on cops and sheriffs and everything? We have a shortage, right? There's not enough law enforcement. This is the second video, because the first one I did on my Facebook channel, on my Facebook page. This is the second one I've done of two of his videos showing apparently there isn't a shortage of law enforcement. Because if you need 3 officers in his first video, 3 cops, actually 2 cops and 2 sheriffs and 1 sergeant who was like, down the road, each in a $70,000 patrol SUV, if you got enough money to do that, then obviously y'all must be getting paid way too goddamn much. And now you're going to have 6 sheriff deputies, 6 that are on payroll. So that means they're on the clock. 6 of them to come talk to somebody who has the right to ask for the shit he's asking for. Where's all this money going? Where's all this money going if you could just call 6 sheriff deputies that are on the clock? What the fuck? Just, where's all the money? If y'all say there's a shortage of law enforcement and y'all don't have enough money, then this right here kind of says you do have the money. And I'll go ahead and speed through it because over a minute and a half of waiting, then he ends up hearing the keys. See, you can even hear the sound of keys jangling. That's the 6 Pinelleas County deputies coming to help me.
Are you guys waiting for anybody?
I'm not sure. Deborah, hold on 1 second. I'll meet you.
Thanks. How you doing? Can you step out in the hallway for a minute, please? I need to speak with you in private. Step up.
Here the Pinelleas deputy assaults me for being in a public lobby, breaking no laws, just requesting records. So she pushes him, meaning that is assault. You cannot touch someone. You can't. You can't. Just like we can't touch you and you consider it assault, you can't touch us either. He's in a public, oh my God. Again, why do we got to follow the law if apparently you don't? Even though that's your job is to enforce the law.
The hallway.
Well, this is a public.
I'm not asking anymore. Step out in the hallway. Do it now.
This is a public
Go
library.
ahead, but I need to talk to her in private.
Okay.
Step out here.
Now you have 4 of them.
Step on down here.
I
need to talk to her, not you. You can talk to her in a minute.
I would like to get her last paycheck.
That's fine. That's not a problem, but I will talk to her. Go ahead.
And he can't ask for her paycheck because it is public record.
Is there something going on today?
What?
Is there something going on today?
I came to make a public record.
Say that again?
I came to make a public record.
For what?
For a report.
You don't need to know that. See, this is what I'm talking about the corruption within law enforcement. You don't need to know that. That's her job. That's not your job. That's the lady I was just talking to. That's her job. I came to ask for a public record. That's it.
Here it is.
Are you here to pick something up?
I'm here.
Yes. Okay, you're a sheriff's deputy. Are you retarded? Because, wow, you're kind of making a case for law enforcement. That whole case that everybody says y'all need more training, because this video is kind of making a case that you're fucking retarded, because he literally just told you he was there requesting public records. So, yeah, he's there to pick something up, dumbass.
Make a public records request. That's what you can do in that window.
Of course you can, but
That's what I was doing.
so let us talk to her, and I don't see why that should be a problem.
I don't see why it's a problem either.
Okay, just do me a favor. Just wait out here. We thought something else was going on.
What are you saying was going on?
We don't know.
So you came out to harass a citizen without knowing what the fuck was going on. I thought you were over there with her in private, talking to her of what was going on. Now you're saying you're going to go back over there to find out what's going on. And because you just said, well, she said there was something else going on. So the bitch who works for the fucking county lied. Why do you people work in law enforcement if you can't do the goddamn job? This is, y'all are seriously making a fucking case. I don't even like LeBron James, but the whole thing of y'all needing more training and all this other shit, y'all are making the case right there because you're fucking retarded.
Over here, sir.
This older blonde deputy calls me Mr. McLynas. So this rounder brunette deputy then says, so he gave us a false name, as they desperately try to figure out some way to arrest me, but he never gave his name that day. And let me explain something to you, lady. Even if he did give a false name, there's no law against it. There's no law. Because he doesn't need to identify himself to you unless he actually broke a law for you to request any identification. He needs to actually break the law for you, because I don't know, I can't remember about Texas, but I know in Florida, unless you actually break a law, that you have broken a law, are in the suspicion of committing, breaking the law, that's about the only times that you can ask for identification. He's broken no laws. So for one, he never gave his name, for one. But for two, y'all saying that, well, he gave a false name, that's not breaking the law. That in itself is not breaking the law unless he's broken the law and then you're asking for identification at that point. Then, he falsified who he was, blah, 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 and all that other bullshit. But giving a false name, there's no law for that. There's no law for giving a false name just to give you a fucking false name.
Mr. McLynas.
No, this is.
Do you have your ID with you? You let me know what it is you're trying to get?
I'm not required to show my
Let's not
ID
give us
without
a
any
false
reason.
name.
Nobody's saying that you violated the law. I'm asking.
Well, then he doesn't need to show you his ID. Again, why do we have to follow the law if you don't?
you, what is it you're trying to get?
I'm trying.
He said public records. That's it. He literally has. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. What? Again, she's making a case. This sheriff's deputy is making the case that law enforcement needs more training, or y'all need to be given IQ tests or something, because either you're playing stupid or you actually are stupid.
To listen to a hearing.
Here, the male deputy says the woman's name, but in a moment, he will claim he does not know who she is.
That was held, yes.
I've spoken with the individual. So she has explained to me that it was $25 and she can get you a copy of it, but you cannot go back into the secure area, which only secure authorized personnel is allowed into, to go ahead and view it. But you can view it at your leisure with your copy once you've paid the fee.
And like I explained to her, Title 10, Chapter 119 specifically states that I have the legal right to come here.
This deputy just literally starts making crap up that has no basis in law or fact.
And listen to the recording and make my own copy of it if I want to. That's what Title 10, Chapter 119
According
says.
to Title
Yes.
10, you may have access to do that. However,
That's what I'm asking for.
security procedures override access to any other possibility of you doing that.
No,
We
security.
have secure areas in here that deem public.
Let me go ahead and actually, okay. Title 10, Chapter 119.107, 1A. Every person who has custody of a public record shall permit the record to be inspected and copied by any person desiring to do so at any reasonable time, and under reasonable conditions. Well, okay, under reasonable conditions. If this deputy is saying that they don't have anything set up to listen to a record like that, then it's not reasonable. So McLynas, I hate to tell you, but under what you just posted, the sheriff's the one who's right here. The deputy sheriff's the one who's right here. He's saying that it's all secure area back there, official business, official people, so there's no place for you to inspect it in that facility. So under reasonable conditions, well, it's not reasonable. So then you would have to pay the $25 then. So I kind of got to agree with him on this one.
Does not have access to go in.
I didn't ask to go back there.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, you cannot go back there to view it.
I didn't ask to go back there.
So you want to view it where? In the lobby?
Wherever they want to show me.
If you pay for your fee, you can go into any public area of this building
But
and view it.
you see, that is a restriction or a condition upon access to public records, which is a violation of Title 10, Chapter 119.
Okay.
I have the right to come here.
He just said the name of the mean woman, yet in a few moments, this deputy will claim he does not know her name and doesn't have access to that information of her name. Right.
And videotape and audio tape and copy and inspect any record that's in this building under normal business hours. They don't have the right to say you cannot inspect or copy the video unless you pay
$25.
Violation of the law. So now, since she did that, now what I would like to do is make a public records request for her last paycheck so I can identify her.
Okay, well, that information is not something that I have access to. I'm
Well,
sure
somebody's
there's,
in the building. Where do I go to get that?
to get a copy of her
Her
paycheck.
last paycheck.
I'm not sure if that's available for public
It
records.
is.
It is.
We have public records here on the second floor, if that's something.
But I need to know her name in order to ask for her record. So I'm asking her for that right here, because how am I going to go ask for her paycheck if she won't even give me her name?
Did you ask her for her name?
Yes, I either need her name or I need her last paycheck from that window.
Did she decline to give you her?
She just walked away.
It's a choice that she has. I can't force somebody to give a name.
Yeah, actually, they work at a county office. They are required to give their name if asked for it. Again, why do you have no, when you work in public, jobs like the county, sheriff, police department, things like that. Yes, in your private time, you have access to privacy. When it comes to these kind of conditions and records and things like that, no, you don't. You don't have any access to privacy. They have, this is by law, they have access to that information. So again, why are you doing the job if you don't want to do the fucking job? And it becomes down to the corruption of the whole good old boys thing. Again, I love my boys and girls in blue. As I said, I have no problem. I love my law enforcement. It's these kind of law enforcement that need to be fired immediately. Immediately. This kind of corruption needs to be, right now, because of how bad things are going on. Officers are being beaten, murdered. You kind of officers are making it, y'all are the ones making it worse for those kind of officers. The ones who are actually doing a good job. The ones who actually want to follow the law. You kind of are making that job harder. Y'all need to be fired. No re-education, no extra training. No, you fucking know what you're doing. You know you're lying. Y'all need to be fired.
So then how am I supposed to access the records if she won't tell me her name?
It's an unfortunate situation that I'm not a party to. I don't have the information and she's not willing to give it, so I don't have an answer in that regard.
So again, I'm being blocked from a public record I'm entitled to.
I'm not blocking you.
Well, I asked her for the record, so why is she not giving me the record?
No, it's a complete thing you need to take with, no, you take it with her office. But we're gonna ask you at this point that, you go ahead and leave them alone unless you have specific business such as paying for.
Leave them alone unless you have specific business. He does. The whole reason why he's there. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Such as paying for.
No, because paying for is against the law. You can inspect. If he wants to make a copy of it, then yes, it's $25. But to inspect the public record, he does legally have access to without paying the $25. What y'all are just making shit up. Just
Copies of the files that you're requesting or the video that you're requesting, that's fine. I can stand by and make sure that you're able to do that. But you won't be able to view them in the secure area.
Oh, will you stand by and do that while I request her last paycheck? Because I can request it to any office, any window, any agent in this building, and it's their job to get it to the agency that's supposed to have it. So can you escort me?
Now he wants me to turn off my camera for some unexplainable reason, which is also you are allowed to film in any of these buildings in the public areas. Any of these buildings, because you're considered, because you work for the public. This is not a federal building. This is a state or city building. In a public area, you are allowed to film. In all the public areas, you are allowed to film, period. But here we go with these officers wanting to break the law.
Get back in there so I can ask for that?
Okay, let's start with this. All right, go ahead and take your phone if you would, please, for me. Just put it in your pocket.
I'm going to continue video. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not going to stop videotaping. But I have the right to do this.
Okay.
And the reason I have the right to do this is
Well,
because
I was trying to help you, but yes, fine.
You're trying to help me by telling me to do something that's against my rights. Y'all notice, because this isn't the first time. You watch a lot of these videos with police interaction, where they're always telling you, well, if you just comply. Now, like with the guy who was just shot, okay, he had warrants. He had active felony warrants. That motherfucker definitely should comply. But if you've broken no laws whatsoever, don't comply, because you are within your rights to refuse shit. Well, would you have an ID on you? Have I broken any laws? Do you have ID on you? Have I broken any laws? Why are you being difficult? Have I broken any laws? Well, no, but then I don't need to identify myself. By law, I don't need to identify myself. Why are you being difficult? See, again, if I got to follow the law, so do you.
I'm not required to help you or assist you with this situation.
you just offered to.
I offered to.
If I had turned off my camera, I am 100% sure that I would have been arrested on this day for some fabricated false charges. I'm pretty sure of it.
Right, let's go do it.
You want to work with me, I'll work with you. I don't need a videotape in my face.
Well, the problem is Title 10, Chapter 119
Now this doofus violates my First Amendment rights by trying to block my camera.
does not have any enforcement other than civil litigation, right?
All right, well, at this point,
So I have the right to videotape this.
my phone will take care of any questions that you have. Thank you very much.
So now you're declining the offer of help you already gave?
Yeah, you can go to the second floor clerk's office and get any information that you need.
You guys are pieces of work.
So I went to the clerk like they told me to, and the clerk sent me to Human Resources to request the last paycheck to ID the rude woman, and now they are preventing me from getting to the HR department.
Yes?
Yes, please stand by for 1 moment.
Are you preventing me from going and making a public records request?
Yes, at this point, I am preventing
So am I
you from
being
going
detained?
inside of there, yes, because you are being trespassed at this point, which means you are no longer able to be at this facility.
He has broken no laws to be considered trespassing.
I'm trying to give you a
Trespassing means
warning.
that I cannot make a public records request.
I am trespassing you not to prevent you from being able to take care of anything that has access to the
And what is
public.
the purpose of trespassing? What is the reason you're trespassing?
Okay, sir, step over here, please.
What is the reason you're trespassing? I have the right to know.
An authorized party representative of this location has requested that you be trespassed from this location. I haven't got any more information
But for what reason?
other than you are not doing what they're asking you to do.
When did I not do what they asked me to do?
First of all, I told you to go over to the clerk's office. And
Oh,
here
you
you're
won't.
standing in.
I already went to the clerk's office. They told me to come here.
No, they didn't.
They just did.
Wow, now they're just outright lying.
You want to go confirm it with the lady? Would you like to walk down there with me?
Now this doofus attempts to put handcuffs on me for trespassing when I've never been asked to leave. See, here's what, and I've watched other videos about this. In order for you to be trespassed, you have to be told to leave the premises first. Once you have left the premises and you come back, then they can arrest you. But they can't arrest you by just saying, like right then and there, you're trespassing and we're just going to arrest you. No, you have to declare that I've trespassed, ask me to leave, me leave, then come back, then I've trespassed. I've watched plenty of videos about this, but yet, again, if I got to follow the law, your dumbasses who signed to enforce the law need to enforce the law. I've had many friends who have gotten mad at me. You know, Mark, why? I thought you loved the cops. Why are you attacking cops in your videos? I'm attacking these cops. I'm attacking bad cops. That's who I'm attacking. If you're a good cop, I've got no problem with you. Obviously, I've got friends and family that are cops. But if you're a bad cop, fuck you.
Confirm with her?
Hi, miss. Is this a gentleman?
Yes.
You want to trespass on this property?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna arrest you. Put your hands behind your back.
Hey, you can't arrest me for that.
You-
Seriously, dude?
Listen,
Was any
so
told
clearly at this point, you've been notified by authorized personnel that you are.
I hope he filed a lawsuit. I really did. I really do hope he filed a lawsuit, because goddamn, I'd be like, you know what? No, go ahead and arrest me. You go right ahead and arrest me. You do know what's going to happen, right? You do know that if you arrest me without me actually having been trespassed first, this will be fun for me.
You trespass from this area. I will be doing a report. First thing I need to get is your information, and then I'm going to request that you ask. Sir.
Haynes, just tell him.
Sir, you're not welcome back here anymore
And why is that?
at the DCR department
And
window.
why is that?
Because when I told
That's
you,
good. You're good. You don't have to explain.
Thank you very much.
He'll explain it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my point.
Whoa, wait a minute. The other sheriff said that this guy will explain it. The other deputy sheriff. Well, that's funny, because if she doesn't explain why he's being considered trespass, and they told her to just walk away, well then how are they supposed to know what he's been trespassed for? He does have a right to know. Again, I really hope he filed a complete lawsuit against these dumbasses, because oh my God.
Trespass. I'm going to need some information. What is your name?
Why do I have to show ID? Trespass, I get to leave. If you're asking me to leave, I get to leave, right?
Now he tries to fabricate a false obstruction charge against me to arrest me.
And that's what I'm doing.
I need your information to be able to write a report on this. At this point, I'm conducting an investigation into the trespass. By not giving me your information, you're obstructing my ability to do
We
it.
know who he is. That's it.
You have this.
This is the first time I have been asked to leave, yet somehow I am being trespassed for not leaving. But he's on the property that you are telling him that now he needs to leave. He has to leave first, then come back to be considered trespass. Oh my God. Again, fucking corrupt officers, corrupt law enforcement.
Okay, so at this point, we're just going to ask you to leave. I'll get your information later. I'll make a report of this. You are not to be allowed back at any point into their office.
You cannot tell someone who has public access unless they've committed some kind of a crime from a public building.
Into which office? Can you please identify which place? This is the courthouse, obviously.
You take a
So,
recording of it. Since you're
okay,
doing it.
show me.
You take right here, digital court recording. So if you have any questions or.
Okay, so just so we're clear, so where does the trespass, you're being reasonable, where does the trespass line begin and end?
This office here, did you
Right
record
here.
it?
So as long as I don't go in that room.
You can contact her by mail.
Okay,
can
thank you.
contact them by
Thank you
phone.
very much, I appreciate it.
Come back.
We're good.
Hardigan, thank you for being professional, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Look at that. You have all these deputy sheriffs standing around for a person who has done nothing. But then again, this is what's going on, is the fact that the gentleman who's recording is running for county sheriff, running against their boss. This is what the harassment is. So corruption.
And that's what it's like if you try and request records at the Pinelleas County Sheriff's Department and you're also a candidate for sheriff. I'm running for sheriff in 2020, ran 2016, They don't want to give you any records. They don't want to provide any records to you. They don't want to give you access. They'll violate Title 10, Chapter 119. And as you just saw, they'll threaten to arrest you for nothing. So let's just do a little recap of the video. There are a lot of things that are happening in the video in such a short period of time. Sometimes it's hard to follow. The details get lost. In the first event, they ordered me out of a public area where I have a First Amendment protected right to film anything that happens in a public area that I can see with my eyes. That lobby I was in was clearly a public area. It was the public waiting room. If that deputy wanted to go and have a private chat with the other government worker, she could have went in the back room. So there was really no reason to A, kick me out of the lobby, B, violate my First Amendment right to videotape, and C, physically put hands on me and order me out of the office physically and forcefully. That was an unnecessary use of force.
Here's the thing about it. Citizens are going to be the ones voting for sheriff. So if he wins, he's going to fire all of those fuckers.
And so I wanted to point out that Florida Open Records Law, Title X, Chapter 119.10b states that any person that knowingly violates the provisions of Chapter 119.071 is subject to suspension and removal or impeachment, and in addition commits a misdemeanor of the first degree, punishable as provided by 775.082. So basically, when that woman refused to provide the public records that I was asking for legally, she committed a crime, a criminal act.
Yep.
And that the punishment with that criminal act includes a criminal arrest, a criminal charge, and to be removed from office. So even though she was the one that committed the crime, they were treating me, the person who was asking for the public records legally and under the law, like the criminal. And these are some of the things that this really has to stop. I'm not sure how much of this was Sheriff Galtieri's way of harassing and attacking a political opponent using the office of sheriff to block records requests, but he's done that quite often, and I currently have a lawsuit against him for failing to produce just a series of his emails. I'm in the process of suing him again because I'm trying to obtain his daily schedule, what he does every day, and I make a daily records request every day for his schedule. And Sheriff Galtieri is trying to prevent me from getting that by telling me that it costs $400 a day to see what he's doing every day. Which
is illegal. No, it's public record. It's public record.
Daily schedule, whatever's on his calendar, that's $400 a day. Obviously, it doesn't take $400 to produce his schedule, but this is just an attempt to prevent me, a political opponent, from being able to prove to you that he's not here in office half the time. And this is sort of the battles that we have in getting public records from corrupt officials. They use their power, they use their authority to block you from finding out what they're really up to. And that's why Title 10, Chapter 119 allows all of us at any point in time to go see any public record and access those public records. That's the whole purpose of open government. So we know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and we have the right to object to it, which is what I'm doing. In this one incident, these various sheriff's deputies were rude. They were totally ignorant of the law. They violated my constitutional rights multiple times. They violated my rights to access public records. They physically assaulted me twice, attempted to falsely arrest me by literally taking out handcuffs and grabbing me by the arm when I had done nothing wrong. They tried to fabricate an arrest forcing me out of a room I had legal right to be in. They tried to fabricate another arrest, claiming I had given them a false name. They tried to fabricate an arrest for trespassing. They tried to create an arrest for obstruction for not giving ID when Florida statutes clearly state I'm not required to give ID unless I'm suspected of committing a crime. And clearly the video shows I had committed no crime that day. So they clearly knew who I was. They knew
I've dealt with officers like this when of course, this is before a lot of these real smartphones and everything else. But I had at the time, which I need to do again, a prepaid legal account. And so you have access to your lawyer 24/7 or to the law firm 24/7. And it never failed. At least 3 times that I was pulled over for bogus shit that I would immediately if it was just a regular traffic stop, fine, comply, whatever. But if it was for something bogus, I would immediately hit speed dial and already be calling the law firm. Person would answer, and it's like, hey, what's your member number, blah, blah, blah. Give you my member number. And I'm like, this is what's going on. And I'm literally talking to the legal aid as the officer is like, you need to get off your phone. And the legal aid's like, actually, no, he doesn't. He actually has, within his rights, he could call his lawyer at any point in time. So we're the law firm. He doesn't need to get off the phone. Oh, well, I pulled him over for, and yeah. But now we have dash cams, our cell phones, and one of my friends, because I had done one of my police party, because I do a lot of police parties for their families, events, all of that stuff with my DJ company. And so I ended up in a discussion with one of my fellow friends who's a police officer, and told him about one of the incidents that happened. And he turned around, he starts laughing when I told him the story. He goes, man, that officer must have just hated you. And I said, yeah, they usually do. I mean, I said a lot of officers have hated me since I was a teen, because I've made friends with internal affairs, with wherever I was at with internal affairs and everything, which I need to find out who's there now at internal affairs. Because the last person I knew was my friend Barbara, who was down for internal affairs for El Paso PD. And, but I said, yeah, of course they hate me. I said, but here's the problem. Why can't they just do their job? If I broke the law, if I ran a stop sign or whatever and you caught me, you caught me. I'm not going to argue that. But when you pull me over for bogus shit, you're goddamn right I'm going to be an ass. And so he goes, Mark, ever since this whole creation of, this was years ago, this whole creation of prepaid legal, police can't stand it. They hate it. And I'm going, because I said, why? Why would they hate something prepaid legal that just basically makes y'all do your job better, right? Why would you hate something that makes you do your job better? And he was like, well, he goes, I have no problem with it, obviously. He goes, but, these other officers that I work with, they hate it because they feel that it impedes on their job. If they're doing their job correctly, if they're doing their job within the properties of their job, why would they have an issue? Why would they have an issue with something that helps protect the citizen? Why would, he goes, I understand. He goes like, but yeah. I said, the only way that I could see that an officer would hate something like prepaid legal or dash cams or cell phone recordings, any of that shit. The only reason why I would think an officer would hate that stuff is if they're one of those corrupt, bad officers. That's it. That's the only reason why I would think that a cop would hate something that protects the citizen. But this is what I've been saying, for shit since I was a kid, but especially in the last couple of weeks. Any bad cops that are out there, they got y'all got, just, how about you quit on your own? If you are one of these corrupt cops, especially now that the police department is under such a microscope right now, quit. Because your bad attitude, your violent nature, or your bad attitude, or your corruption is getting your fellow brothers and sisters out there murdered, killed. So take it upon yourself, be a good human being, be a good citizen, and quit. That this isn't the right job for you. And for the ones who are the good cops, report the bad ones. I have never believed that whole brotherhood, sisterhood bullshit when it comes to protecting bad cops. Never believed in that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here because, normally, as I said, I was going to try and do these in part 1, part 2, which I really fucking should have for this and could have at any point in time, but I just wanted to get through the entire video because his video is like 25 minutes long. And then, of course, I got to give my point so I can do the whole free use or whatever, thing with, doing these kind of videos and stuff of fair use. So, of course, I got to talk through the video and everything. So it's fair use, giving my opinion and stuff up through the video and everything. instead of just playing the whole video, because then that wouldn't be fair use without giving my input and everything else. But yeah, I really should have broken it up into 2 parts. And I know I said this, yesterday or the day before, that I really would start doing that. I'm surprised y'all didn't call me out on it that are watching right now. But I promise I will try. I will, because there's another video I really want to do really quick, and I swear I will try. If it gets to the 30-minute part, I will try to do part 1, part 2. Okay, I will talk to y'all soon. Peace. No. If you had put a reminder, then that would have been great. If you had put a reminder, that would have been great. So anyway, I'll talk to you actually in the next one.